Okay, so it's typed up. Let's look through it and make sure you understand what the steps are. The first step is just to write down the difference quotient. That's all we did over here. And the next step is to write down the evaluation of f of x plus h. Well, if I wrote that down, f of x plus h is going to be, it's fairly simple to do. It's twice the argument, which is 2x plus 2h minus 1. And what goes on bottom? 2 minus 3 times the argument, so minus 3x minus 3h. Let me just show you where that's written. We're looking for this, and that's written right over here. So we get the 2x plus 2h minus 1, 2 minus 3x minus 3x. Then, minus, I'm sorry, it's going to be minus the function. And I noticed I wrote something a little bit strange here. And I made a mistake here. I got to correct it. I just noticed it. So this here is an error. You're not going to see that. I'm going to correct that. Now, I realize with a lot of students, they look at work and they don't understand it. And that could lead to even more confusion. But that's an error. That should read as a minus sign. All right? So I'll change that up in my notes. You're not going to see that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the LCD. And so what's the LCD? The LCD is 2 minus 3x minus 3h and 2 minus 3x. All right? Now, if you do that, what are you going to get? Well, you're certainly going to get this 2x plus 2h minus 1 times 2 minus 3x minus, that's correct, 2x minus 1 times 2 minus 3x minus h. And the bottom is also being multiplied by that minor LCD, by the way. You're going to get this over here, all right? So let me point out what we're doing. Multiply the top and the bottom by this over here. Okay, someone says, what are you going to do now? There's very little I can do. And what I mean by that, I'm really kind of looking at the problem. And the bottom is, there's not much I can do about that. But the hope is this, that if you multiply the top out, that things will get simple. All right, I'm going to get my eraser out. And I want to point out what I'm doing here. I want to multiply the top out. So let's just talk about it one step at a time. We're going to take this and multiply it by this. All right? So let's take a look. And the way I would probably do that is I'd multiply the 2 across these 3 terms first. And what would you get? 4x, 4h, minus 2. Then I distribute the minus 3x across those 3 terms. You get minus 6x squared. Let's see, minus 6xh. And then you can get plus 3x. That's done. And then I'm going to do the next thing. Let me get my eraser out. I'm done with this. And I want to do this. And that's more difficult. I'll tell you the number one reason why we're actually subtracting it. So let's take a look at it. And I think the first thing I want to do is just distribute this 2x across the terms. All right? I want to do that. So 2x times 2 is 4x when I subtract it. So minus 4x. Let's take a look. 2x times minus 3x is minus 6x squared, but I'm subtracting it, so plus 6x squared. I see that. 2x times minus 3x is minus 6xh, but I'm subtracting it, so I should see plus 6xh. Now let's do the minus 1. What are you going to get? Minus 2, but minus 2 is plus 2. Let's see, minus 1 times minus 3 is 3x, but I'm going to subtract it, so minus 3x. Then minus 1 times minus 3h is 3h, but I'm subtracting it, minus 3h. So I'm pretty comfortable there. I got that part done. All right, let me get my eraser out. I'm going to start to erase this business over here. Everything looks good in the top, by the way. And the bottom's not much I can do about that. Right, I'm going to look at the top, and I want to look around for things that look pretty easy to deal with. So, for example, 4x and minus 4x, they just disappear. The minus 2 and the 2, that disappears. The minus 6x squared and this 6x squared, they disappear. The 3x and minus 3x disappears. The question is, what are you left off with? Well, let's keep going through it. Well, this disappears. Looks like everything has disappeared, but now I'm left with 4h minus 3h, and that would just give me an h. And I'm down to it. I'm down to a very simple expression over here. What happens now? Well, h is not 0, so these things cancel off, and what are you left off with? As advertised, 1, and you're left off with 2 minus 3x minus 3h, 2 minus 3x. We just did the difference quotient. Thank you.